The NFL is a league with many great players who have all stacked up many personal accolades and may even be Hall of Famers once they retire. But one thing that every NFL player goes for is a Super Bowl ring. But 1 out of 32 teams each year wins a Super Bowl, meaning that some players who most definitely deserve a Super Bowl ring aren't able to get that ring that they most definitely desire because they're being held back by their team. So today I'm going to be talking about NFL veterans who I believe deserve a Super Bowl ring before they retire. What's up everybody, it's AC Analysis, and like I said in the intro, today I'm going to be talking about NFL veterans who I really do believe deserve a Super Bowl ring before they retire shortly. And football at the end of the day is a team game, so every single team is striving for a Super Bowl, whether they're pushing for one now or one 10 years in the future. And winning a Super Bowl is very difficult. One team wins it every single season out of 32 teams. So some players that really deserve to win a Super Bowl are not able to because their team can't win a Super Bowl and the team around them isn't good enough. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy consistent football content, remember, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs now, and we're actually pretty close, and every sub helps. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Actually, before we get started, it's time for the shoutout of the video. And the shoutout for today's video goes to Football Wins 32. He makes a cool variety of NFL highlight content, and you guys should really check him out. And if you guys want a chance to get your channel shouted out, make sure to comment down below so we can help all of our channels grow together. And now let's actually get into the video. The first player on our list who deserves a Super Bowl is a player that's been in the NFL since 2003, and that is Jason Witten. And he was drafted late in the draft by the Dallas Cowboys, and he is easily one of the best tight ends of this era, averaging about 800 receiving yards a season, 5-6 touchdowns, and he was a great player up until 2017, in which he retired. And then he actually got a Monday Night Football commentating job with CBS. And he seemed like he was going to take a pretty similar path with his fellow late-round draft pick teammate Tony Romo, who was drafted in 2004 and retired recently to take a job as an NFL commentator. But then Jason Witten actually came back in 2019, and he had a solid 500-yard season with the Cowboys until he was eventually moved to the Raiders in 2020. And the Raiders have him on a one-year few million-dollar contract, and he isn't doing much this season. His highest receiving game is 21 receiving yards, and he isn't the greatest player right now. He's more of a blocking tight end who doesn't come in much. But Jason Witten is definitely going to be a Hall of Famer when he grows up, so he definitely deserves to win a Super Bowl. The next player on our list is a player who's been in the NFL since 2004, and that is Philip Rivers. And Philip Rivers is a part of that famous trade in which Eli Manning, who was actually drafted number 1 in the 2004 draft by the Chargers, did not want to play for the organization because they were a very bad organization, so he decided to move to the Giants. And Philip Rivers, who was actually drafted by the Giants, went to the Chargers. And frankly, Philip Rivers got the short end of the stick because Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls against my Patriots. I don't like you, Eli. But Philip Rivers has not even made a Super Bowl in his career. And to be honest, he's played with some pretty good teams. He's played with LaDainian Tomlinson and other great players since 2004, and he's been an elite quarterback. He's never actually hit over 5,000 yards in a season, but he's averaged about 4,500 passing yards, and in his career he has 62,000 passing yards, 415 touchdowns, and 207 interceptions. And only for the past 3 years has Rivers really showed signs of slowing down. And in 2019, he was finally traded to the Colts. And to be honest, now the Colts are his only chance of winning the Super Bowl. But after seeing the Colts lose pretty badly to the Titans, I don't really think that's going to happen, especially since there are many teams that are better than the Colts. And it's pretty late into Philip's career to the point where I think he should just retire without a Super Bowl ring. But he has made the AFC Championship before, and even though I don't think he'll win a Super Bowl, like in Jason Witten's case, I do believe that he deserves the Super Bowl. The first defensive player on our list is a defensive player who's been in the NFL since 2011, and that is J.J. Watt, who is one of the best defensive linemen of this era and probably one of the best of all time. And he was drafted in the first round, and J.J. Watt pretty much his entire career has been a great player. 2013 to 2015 was really his prime, where he won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards in 4 years. 2012 and 2014 he also got over 20 sacks, and recently he has had some back problems, and especially in 2017 and 2019, in which he had back problems which made him miss the entire season. But even in between those 2 years, in 2018, he had a 16-sack season, so that shows that J.J. Watt is still one of the best defensive linemen in the league. And to be honest, I do believe that JJ would have had a solid chance at making a Super Bowl if Bill O'Brien did not mess up the entire organization. Because Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, JJ Watt, I believe that's a team that could make a Super Bowl. And he really does deserve it because he's had multiple All-Pro selections. Like I said, he has had multiple Defensive Player of the Year selections. He has made many Pro Bowls. And I know that he's only 9 years into his career, but if you're a defensive lineman, your days are really numbered. So I do believe that JJ Watt, even especially with all of his injuries, will retire soon. And let's just hope he can go to a new team, because there's still a chance that he goes to a new team and wins a Super Bowl. But currently he is the face of Texas, and I really don't believe that he will go to a new team. The next player on our list is a running back who's been in the league since 2007, and that is Adrian Peterson, who was drafted in the first round by the Vikings. And really in his first season, people knew that this running back was going to be great, since he came out the gate with 1,300 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. And in 2008, he really picked up on that, with 1,800 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. And his career went like this a lot, getting tons of 1,000-yard seasons until 2012, when he came out with 2,000 rushing yards, 6 away from an NFL record, and he had 12 touchdowns, winning the NFL MVP. And he is the last running back to do so, and he's easily one of the best running backs probably of all time. And he's been playing with the Vikings since 2016, and then he's bounced around with the Saints, the Cardinals, he's bounced around with the football team, the Lions. So to be honest, he is such a good player, he's played for so long, and a running back usually doesn't last this long. They don't last 13 years, so I wouldn't be surprised if he retired too soon. He's not the same player that he used to be. This year he has 500 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, still playing solid for a 13-year back, but he's not the same runner that he used to be. He doesn't move the same. But for God's sake, just put this guy on a backup role on a Super Bowl winning team like the Chiefs and let him get the Super Bowl ring, because he really does deserve it. One of the final players on our list is a player that I'm sure you guys knew would be on here, and that is Julio Jones, who was drafted in the first round by the Atlanta Falcons in 2011, and in his career, in a 9-year career, he has 1,200 receiving yards and 60 touchdowns, really one of the best wide receivers of this era, maybe only behind Calvin Johnson, who did also deserve a Super Bowl. But Julio Jones has been a real compliment to the Atlanta Falcons. He's been great with Matt Ryan, and I don't believe Matt Ryan would be where he was without Julio Jones. And he did reach a Super Bowl in 2017, in which he had 1,500 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. They did lose the Super Bowl though, 28-3. Julio Jones really should have a Super Bowl ring right now, and he shouldn't be on this list. But the Patriots did their thing, and they won. But Julio has been one of the best pieces. He's helped the team get to where it is. He's helped Calvin Ridley become good. He's helped Matt Ryan become good. And frankly, this guy does deserve a Super Bowl ring. There were some rumors that Julio Jones was going to get traded, but he's been loyal to the Falcons his entire career, and I just don't think he's the type of guy to get traded. So Julio Jones does deserve a Super Bowl, but at the spot at where the Falcons are right now, I don't believe he's going to get it. Just please get this guy a ring. He's so amazing. He's one of my favorite wide receivers in the league. The next player on our list is a defensive player that I believe more people should be talking about, and that is starting safety for the Minnesota Vikings, Harrison Smith, who was drafted in the first round of the 2012 NFL Draft to the Vikings and has stayed on them for their entire career. And he's averaged a solid 75 tackles a season. He has 13.5 sacks and 27 interceptions, and has a really good career with the Vikings. Do I believe he'll make Hall of Fame? No. But he's so consistent for this team, he does not get injured, and I really do believe that this guy does deserve a Super Bowl ring. And I'm telling you, if he wins a Super Bowl ring, it will not be in Minnesota. The second to last player on our list is a defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Casey Hayward, and he was drafted 2 years after the Steelers won their 2009 Super Bowl against the Cardinals. And I'm putting him on the list because he's been such a good veteran for the team for such a long time, and honestly, if he has a chance of winning the Super Bowl, it's this year, with his 11-0 Steelers. Do I believe that the Steelers are the best team in the league? No, but he has 433 total tackles in his career and 57 sacks with 1 interception coming in this season. And like I said, if he had the best chance of winning a Super Bowl in his career, it's this season, and I just wanted to quickly add this player in here. Now the final player on our list is a player that I'm sure you guys all expected to be here, and that is Larry Fitzgerald, who was drafted by the Cardinals in 2004 and has been with the team all the way up to even this season in 2020. And Larry Fitzgerald is easily one of the best wide receivers of all time. He's gonna make Canton, no doubt about that. But he spent his entire career with the Cardinals, and like I said in the previous one, he did make a Super Bowl in 2009 against the Steelers, in which he unfortunately lost. But he has a total of 17,000 receiving yards, he has 120 touchdowns, and here's a fun fact about him: Larry Fitzgerald actually has more tackles than dropped passes. That really shows how consistent he has been, how good he's been, and how loyal he's been to a team that really at times I don't feel like has been loyal back to him, because he still was a 1,000-yard receiver up to 2017, and he's a good complement in 2020 to Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. He's not the same player that he used to be, and I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl, and he's actually going to retire pretty soon, because he's pretty late into his career, and I don't think the Cardinals can win a Super Bowl at 6-5 this season. But Larry Fitzgerald definitely deserves a Super Bowl. I just don't think he will win it. With that being said, let's hurry up with this video. This has been AC Analysis talking about NFL players, veterans who I really do believe deserve Super Bowl rings. And thank you guys so much for watching, but before you leave, if you guys enjoy consistent football content, remember, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs now, and every sub helps. And if you guys want a shout out, make sure to comment down below to have a chance to get your channel shouted out, and we can help all of our channels grow together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be up to date for a video in 2 to 3 days. See you next time.